everyone. Welcome to this week's Karma Cards. So it's kind of a big day in energy right now. So today is the first day of Virgo season. To all my Virgo friends out there, happy Virgo season. I hope you have an amazing birthday. Also, at the same time, we've got Mercury retrograding in its sign of Virgo. And what's really interesting is that Mercury rules Virgo. So when Mercury's in a sign that it actually rules, it makes it very prominent and strong. And it was so interesting because I was trying to, tune in to the message from the team and trying to get an understanding of what they were talking about. And all they kept saying to me was cocoon, rest, reassess, don't make decisions. And I'm like, I literally pulled several cards. I'm like, can you give me more information? And it was like, reassess, don't decide. It was all this stuff. And I'm like, why is this so intense that I'm getting this message today? And of course, it dawned on me that it is the first day of the Mercury retrograde. And typically, Mercury retrograde usually gets a bad rap. It gets a little bit of the, negative energy. Like people are like, oh, it's such a bad thing. But really, it's an assessment period. And so once I understood what they were trying to point out, that was their message, it really is a time of going back over things, right? So when Mercury is in retrograde, what's really interesting is the aspects that Mercury rules over, predominantly communication and also how we do business. It's really connected to business as well, but also, how we're expressing and communicating. And it's always a period of internal reflection. It's generally considered good practice to not rush or force decisions when Mercury is in retrograde, and doubly so now because it's retrograding in the sign that one of the signs it rules, which is Virgo. So this one is about work, really, because Mercury also rules over Gemini. Gemini is the communicator, where Virgo really does have to do with the literal work that we do. So what it's letting us know right now, what the team wants me to share with you, is that this is not a time to push. It is not a time to try and force any plans through. The best way forward is to go quiet and go still, go internal, and contemplate over what you're trying to make happen. Pushing is going to create more resistance in your life, and possibly if you were to try and push through this right now, what would happen is you just would make a choice that's out of alignment. It wouldn't be well thought out, and it's like you'd have to do it over anyway. And so when we're inside this window, it's not that we can't make decisions, and it's not that things won't go through, but we definitely want to be sort of like hands off, go with the flow as we move forward. It's really a time of quieting everything, just quieting the mind. So I want you to think about, especially if it's coming to work or something you're trying to put out there, are you feeling the struggle at this time? Or is it feeling like it's not clicking or connecting the way you're intending it to? The message for you then is to let that go. Just stop. Put your hands down, sit, find a nice, comfortable spot, and just go within and try to find that inner peace, the inner stillness. And so this is a great Mercury retrograde to really recommit to any meditation practice you might have. I know for me, it's like meditation's always on my list every day, but I don't always make it a priority or get to it right away. And sometimes I cut myself short. That happened to me today. I was trying to get in the zone, trying to meditate, and it was I was hyper aware of all the things going on. And usually when I'm outside in nature, I can kind of just tune into nature and zen out. But this time it was what's that sound in the bush? Is someone coming around the corner of the house? I was so hyper fixated on what was going on around me that I couldn't find that stillness. And so the message from my team though is meditate. And they were up the ante. They want me to go back to twice a day. Right. And so what I've decided to do is use this Mercury and Virgo retrograde to recommit to a meditation practice. So trying to get it in twice a day. So I got it in once. It didn't go the way I wanted to, but it's fine because I'm going to go back again and do it before bedtime. So a great way to incorporate that if you want to join me is, try to do it in the morning and try to do it in the evening. And that just adds a beautiful bookend to your day. And that way, it's like you're opening the space. You're opening the space in your mind. You're getting to consider what you'd like to see happen without pushing. And at the end of the day, you can use it as like a sort of an assessment period. How'd that go? Like I noticed I got stressed out at this point. What was going on there? Oh yeah, I can see I was really trying to like nudge something forward or insisting that it happened. And by doing this, we can practice finding that beautiful space in the middle of the day where we allow ourselves to just let things happen, like trust how things are unfolding. And if they're not unfolding in the way that feels like what you want, just remember it's like things have to rearrange themselves in order to get themselves into the alignment that you're desiring. So it's kind of like they're showing me right now, it's like let's say you're playing a board game or something and you're trying to get a certain number, right? It's like you're just rolling the dice right now. Right now we're in that shaking spot where it's just like, I'm going to roll it out, see what happens. Whatever I get, I'm going to pick up the dice and let it roll again. It's not really about the moving forward. It's more about allowing things to fall into place right now. And we do that through quietness, cocooning, retreat, stillness, reassessment, and understanding that in this moment of time, and specifically for this message, just for this week, see if you can let go. Yeah, my team's like a ding. So just for this week, our job is to like not push, not force, allow. And it'll bring up our control stuff, which is really interesting because one of the harder aspects of the sign of Virgo is control. So Virgo is great at planning. They're great at organizing. They're great at getting the job done. It's like if you want to get the job done, get a Virgo to help you. Because they not only do they have that earthy quality of being able to finish, but they've got the speed of Mercury that helps them do it. So they're really efficient. And that's their strengths. But the hard part that they generally deal with is the need to control. To have control over the situation and to have it go at the speed that they can go. And a lot of times sometimes life works like that. Other times it doesn't. So what can come up during this period is a need to control the situation. Our control issues might come to the surface. And again, it's coming to the surface not so that we can struggle with it and feel like things are hard or unfair, but rather to recognize where we get really locked into that feeling of control. What do we need to have control over? And is it necessary to be in control of this thing that I want control over? Or is there a more aligned way to move forward? Is there a way where I can actually feel at peace and trust that the process is unfolding in my favor rather than trying to force it to unfold in my favor? And so if we just allow that to come through, allow ourselves to experience where do we try to have control and assess that, then we're really embracing this period of looking at the mind and getting to see how things operate. And really, Mercury retrograde is simply that opportunity. I get to see how my mind is operating. I get to assess and see if I'm liking the choices I make or if there's now a better choice I can perceive. So with that, let's check out what the karma cards have to add to this Mercury retrograde reading. All right, so if you're new to the karma cards, let me quickly show you how these work. I have 3 decks here: planets, signs of the zodiac, and the houses of astrology. And I've already asked my team, what's the message you have for us this week? And I've got 2 sets of answers, a set in red, which are action related, and a set in blue, which are outcome related. And the way that you play is you tune in with that beautiful intuition of yours and feel, what is it you need this week? Are you looking for action related guidance, or do you want to see how things resolve over the week? And of course, you can always choose both. And while you're choosing, let me tell you the timing for this reading. This reading is for August 23rd through August 30th, so almost right up to the end of the month. So let me tell you the flavor of this reading. First, we've got the North Node, which I find really interesting because the South Node feels like it would match what's going on with the Mercury retrograde, but the North Node is about what I'm striving for, what am I going to, what I feel is my destiny. So that's activated. In the sign of Cancer, Cancer is very much about going inward, right? Using our intuitive abilities and sensing things out with our feelings. In the 10th house, which is the house of, our public standing and also career. It's like what we're putting out in the world. So we're looking forward, we're going inward at what we're putting out in the world. So interesting. The spiritual action at this time is to have faith in your feelings responsibly. This is such a tricky one, right? Have faith in your feelings responsibly. And what I'm getting from that is feelings are so important. They're really important to listen to because they tell you what's happening biochemically in your body, because they are a biochemical reaction to your thoughts. And yet, feelings aren't facts. And that's where the word responsibly comes in. Because yes, you're having a chemical reaction to your thoughts, but that doesn't mean that the feeling you're having is accurate to what's going on. And so it's talking about trusting those feelings, but also understanding that just because I feel this way doesn't mean it's an accurate representation of what's going on. So to give you an example of that, let's say I am really feeling frustrated, I'm really feeling down, and I'm going into a sense of lack, and that's the emotions that are coming up, is this sense of lack, and I'm feeling down, like nothing is working, and it's leaving. Somehow it's getting pulled away. Now, to have faith in that is to pay attention to, oh my gosh, I'm in a state of lack, right? And I sense that, and I allow that. I know that's what's happening. The difference is that I don't react from that place, and I don't go into a thing of like everything's leaving and everything's falling away. It's all falling apart, and go into the, ensuing hysteria that believing those thoughts might create. Instead, I can go and notice, oh my God, I feel a sense of lack. I feel like things are getting taken away. And I recognize that that's a thought I'm having, and now I'm challenging that thought. Is that true? Are things getting taken away? And I can look at, whatever it is I'm associating with, let's say my career or something. And I could, I'm like, maybe I had an expectation of how things would go, and they're not going according to that expectation, but that does not mean the same thing as things are getting taken away. So my feelings want to bring me into an extreme where the reality is I had an expectation, it's not getting met, and I treated that expectation as if it were meant to be my reality. Like my expectation is the reality, when in reality, it's an expectation, reality fell short of it, but it doesn't mean anything extreme. I hope I'm explaining that well and you can follow along. So the responsible part was me recognizing that's a thought. Those feelings are connected to a thought I'm having, and I'm responsibly challenging that thought. Is anything getting taken away? Did I really lose anything? No. What I recognize is I had an expectation that wasn't met. There's the responsible part. Mental action at this time. Do not worry about attitudes from the past about success. I love that. Okay, so this is perfect because this is the work that the Mercury retrograde is letting you know, like, you're gonna come inward. You're not gonna try and make decisions. You don't have to do this big choice yet. It's simply an assessment, and again, paying attention to the emotional state and following the thought. What thought created that feeling? But it wants you to know you don't need to worry about how you viewed success in the past. So therefore, going back to my previous example, how I viewed success in the past, that might have created the expectation I had that made me feel unsuccessful or created those feelings of lack. And it's letting me know, like, don't worry about that you had that. Don't harp on it. Don't harp on the expectation. Just recognize That's what's happening here. Is I feel disappointed because I didn't meet an expectation. But that is not actually a marker of my true success. And if we can go inward and recognize that. So there's no sense of beratement or punishment for previously held ideas or concepts or perceptions, right? We're just simply viewing them without judgment, and that helps us make an accurate assessment. Physical action at this time. Now is the time to use your intuition and become a person of power and status. And again, this is so funny, right? Because it sounds like this big, like you're going to do some big action, but to use your intuition is to go inward. To become the person of power and status is to recognize that this is part of that power, right? The ability to go inward and contemplate and assess is part of what empowers you. It helps you dismantle disempowering thoughts. It helps you draw all your energy back to yourself and reassess the situation. So in this way, it's not an active, I'm going out and like putting my stake in the ground and claiming my power or status. Instead, it's drawing all those pieces back to you. And it's almost like they're showing me a puzzle that's scattered. And before you can put the puzzle back together, you just have to collect all those pieces. And in doing so, again, you're recollecting your power. Whatever disempowering thoughts you had, you're claiming your power back from that. Whatever situation where you allowed yourself to feel like a victim, you're also drawing your power back from that. It's like you're wiping the chalkboard clean, or you're getting all those puzzle pieces together and you're about to start putting it back together. But now it's not the putting together time, it's the gathering. It's just the gathering and the wiping it clear time. All right, so now let's look at outcomes for the North Node in Cancer in the 10th house of external world and career. The spiritual outcome at this time, there will be intuition to protect your destiny. This is a safe period. It's a cocoon. So the images they gave me are like cocoon, hibernation, retreat, right? You're just going inward. So again, you lose nothing. So in case you're like, oh, if I stop and I assess, I might lose momentum or something. No. This is the time. The timing is perfect to allow things, if they're busy right now, if things are moving forward, yes, deal with that. It's not like you have to stop things, but there's no extra effort required. In fact, all effort now is directed inward. It's like a vacuum sucking. It's like you're taking a breath in right now. The exhale's coming, but right now is that collecting in, and you lose nothing, and it gets you closer to the target than just trying to go and trying to force things or make it happen. Mental outcome at this time, success from attitudes from the past about where you are going. So again, part of the assessment period or the reassessment period is to, again, breathe in and think about, we're being asked to go back to where we started. What sparked this for you? Whatever it is you're working on or doing or trying to put out in the world, you always want to come back to what's the spark of this? Why? Why am I doing it? And that usually is like right there at the beginning. You can always find at the beginning of your story why you did this. Why did you set out on this quest? Why did you do the journey? Why did you start the thing? That's what we're coming back to. That's the PowerPoint, and getting back to why, and just honestly tapping back in. Am I still motivated by that? Am I still motivated by that? Or do I feel like I've gotten what I need out of that? And in order to keep going, I have to reassess, why am I doing this? Because our why can shift. It really can. Whatever inspired you at the beginning, if it's not honestly lighting you up anymore, or you feel like I've resolved that, like that need or drive I had in the beginning, I feel like I got it. And now I'm not so sure why I'm still doing this. So it's such a beautiful period of time to connect back in. Why did I start this? Do I still feel the same way? And if I want to keep going, what inspires me now? Why am I doing this now? If I figured that one part out, why am I still going? For some of us, you might find like, I don't need to keep going. maybe it's resolved, and that does happen. And if that's where it's at, then the good news is something new is coming in for you. It's letting you know, hey, you got this already. And if you don't feel like it's done, but the why isn't lighting you up, then it's the perfect time to reconnect and go, okay, why do I do it now? If I've gotten that thing, if I understood that point, if I learned the lesson or whatever it is I connected to why, if I've received that already, what keeps me going? Why do I do it now? What am I doing it for? And asking those questions, it's like, man, they're showing me so many images, but the puzzle pieces get put back together as you ask that question. It's almost like the puzzle is uniting its pieces for you as you ask these questions and get that clarity right now. And the outcome of that is success. There is new success attached to this deeper understanding. Physical outcome at this time, benefit resulting from the history of your career or what you put out in the world. And again, I add that because sometimes some of us aren't as focused on career, but we are always, all of us are putting something out in the world, whether it's more love, more open-mindedness, more nuance, whatever it is you're putting out, you are putting something out, whether you're focused on a career or not. So again, we're being told that by going back and considering why we put things out, there is benefit. There's so much to gain right now from slowing down and going inward. So again, the word meditation, it's like hitting me over the head. And I can't tell you how many conversations I've had just in the last 24 hours about meditation, about other people meditating or their meditation plans or what they're doing, or sharing with me, like, your team wants you to meditate. It's like, I get it. It's like meditation is the key right now. It's so crucial. And so again, they want you to know there's a big payoff in this one. And it's like, of course, we want to go into meditation for the desire to connect with our internal world. And that is a huge payoff in and of itself. But if you need a little encouragement, there's success, there's benefits, there's deeper understanding, the aha, the light bulb moment, the clarity, the renewed vision, all of that's waiting for you. And, you might not get it in your first session, and you might have to try again. You might find that you have all the stuff comes up first, like the control issues, and that's okay. Remember, we want it to come up. We want to see it. We're not going to judge it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just how we've been coping up until this point. But we're in the fine-tuning adjustment period, and that quiet, the quiet before the storm, it's something big is coming. Something beautiful is coming for you. And even though Virgo is kind of considered a period of work, right? Harvest throughout the year happens between Virgo and Libra are big harvest times. And so usually that implies like reaping something. But right now it's like you got to center and be still and pull it all inward and assess, like, why am I going to go out there and do this work? And the clearer you get on that, man, it's just like the floodgates of abundance. And yeah, my team's lighting up on that. They're like, yes. So the floodgates of abundance are just waiting to open for you. So if you felt like, man, where is abundance right now? Or where is that flow state I've been looking for? They want you to know that this is the period where you just need to gather all that power back into you, and then you're going to see it. You will see it. So I hope you join me in meditating. And yeah, you want to keep me on my toes, go ahead and post in the comments. Ask me if I'm meditating twice a day. I promise if you ask me, I will respond to you honestly and let you know. But I invite you to join me in doing that, because I think that the team is letting us know so much good stuff is trying to come to you. We just have to be still to receive it. Also, if you're loving the karma cards, or if you have a question or you want to know more, drop it in the comments. Give a like to this video, share it if you feel compelled, and subscribe to my channel. It really does help with the algorithm. I don't know, how long I get to be on YouTube, because people who do what I do, we get kicked off a lot. So your support in helping build up my channel means so much to me and helps keep me going. And I'm so excited to continue to share the karma cards and other readings with you as well. And I'm just sending you so much love and appreciation for being here with me. And I wish you happy meditating, and I will talk to you next week. Mwah. Bye.